Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game, bringing you another edition of Game Night in Review, where I talk about the games that me and others have been playing at Games Night. And in this episode, the games we will have are The Castles of Madkin Ludwig, 23, Brewcrafters Travel Card Game, Pflaumen, I think that's how it's pronounced. The English version is just called Pears, and also Quadropolis. Now, a special mention just to a couple of games that we're not really going to discuss here, but they were played last night, and the reason we're not going to discuss them in this video is actually because they've been in a previous video. So there were two games, Pictomania and 5 Tribes, played last night that were in episode 9. So I'm going to include a link in the description to those. One small thing, update on 5 Tribes from that video. I have a copy here. Yes, this arrived just yesterday. As I said in episode 9, this was on my wish list and it was on sale, so I picked it up as quickly as I could. With that out the way, let's just have a little caveats. Of course, these are not full-fledged reviews. This might not even be a review, just kind of, someone played this game. Or it's just my experience from a single play maybe, or just my opinions watching a game. Now, if I like the look of a game, I will get it and probably do full reviews at some point. Let's talk about our first game, The Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Now, this was not one I was playing, and it's a shame that I was playing another game. I would have really liked to have played that. It is a game that is actually on my wish list. For those of you who don't know what it is a construction game, like a city building game really, but rather than buildings in a city, it's rooms in a castle. And they score various points based on how you place them in relation to different other types of buildings, etc. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game will end up winning. Now, it does have this interesting kind of bidding mechanic where you'll get to set the prices for the different types of rooms, and each turn it changes who's doing that, and they get the money. So you can go, well, I know they really want this room, and you can either make it so that they can't afford that room, or you could make it that they just have to pay a lot for that room and you get it. So there's very much a lot of thought that goes into that. It's so many choices, and those choices just interact really nicely and create a really engaging game. Now, if you are interested in the Castles of Madkin Ludwig, in that series of games, there is actually a new one coming out this year called Colony, so you might want to keep abreast of that. So that's the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. As I say, I do enjoy it. I want to play it. I think it does work well as a 2-player, and I will hopefully get it one day. So the next game I'm going to talk about is a little card game, and in fact the rest of the games that I didn't play that were played were little card games. So the first one I'm going to talk about is 23. Now, I hadn't heard of this game until recently because it was in an episode of the Dice Tower. And so I was interested to see that it was actually being played. Now, the nature of this game is it's one of those ones where you're just trying to get rid of all your cards. It feels very much like it's based off of an older card game that you would have played just with a standard deck of cards, but they've created their own kind of version on it, whereby you're going up in numbers and you're trying to get rid of the cards that you've got. Now, I don't know a huge amount much more than that about it, except for you get tokens as forfeits if you go too far or bail out and things like that. It's one of that kind of genre of game. There's quite a few out there that do very similar things, and they're okay, fun little fillers really, but they don't draw me in and engage me enough to really care about them. So, moving on to the next little card game. This was Brewcrafters Travel Card Game. So Brewcrafters is a proper big board game, and the publishers went, let's make a compact version that will give you the feel of Brewcrafters, but that you can take around with you. Talking to the guys who are playing this, they said it really does do that. It's an okay game. It's not an amazing game. You'll mainly only really enjoy it probably if you are a fan of the Brewcrafters game, I think, from what they were saying, because it reminds you of that game. It gives you a bit of that feel, but in a shorter time space. Again, a bit of a filler game. The nature of it, to my understanding, is that you'll have cards that are, I think it's, you're managing a brewery and you have cards that are like orders that you're trying to fill or something. I don't know a huge amount. Again, this kind of little fillery card game tends not to draw me in, so I haven't looked into it much. But, you know, if you're a fan of Brewcrafters, didn't know this out there, you might want to check it out. And it was only 2 people playing this, so I think it does work for 2 players. So the next one is the one that I can't really pronounce. I think it's German, Pflaumen, which I think is something to do with pears. The new English version coming out, I think later this year, I think second quarter it's due out this year, is called Pears and will be coming from Crash Games. What people were playing was I think it's Pegasus Spiel version from last year, and they were playing it with 3 people. Again, it's a light filler game. The nature of it is some cards are orders that you need to have a certain type of pair, I think, or a certain combination of... It's kind of set collectioning almost, really. But you're choosing an order that you're then trying to fulfill with the fruit cards that are pairs. Now, the guys who are playing this said the most fun from the game actually comes just from the innuendos of talking about people's pairs. If you're into that kind of thing, it might be worth checking out. So that's all the games that other people played at Games Night. So let's now move on to what I played. And there was only the one game, and it is one that, of course, I've been talking about a lot on the channel recently, and that was actually in my previous Game Night in Review episode. And in that one, I went to a games cafe and tried it with my wife playing 2-player just on the classic mode. Now, last night, I took this along to Games Night. I was expecting huge demand for this game. I expected that, you know, I'd go, look, here's Quadropolis, this hot new release from Days of Wonder that everyone's talking about, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, I want to play that. Now, a couple of people have heard of it, and were like, not my kind of game. And the rest of the people were like, well, I guess we'll give it a go. I'm happy to play it. So no one was really excited. I was surprised by that. I thought people would be excited by this. But as I say, 2 other people did play with me. So in the end, it was a 3-player game. We started off doing classic mode. It was lovely, easy, quick to explain. I think took 5-10 minutes to explain how to play. Set up so quick and easy. And then the first game took us 45 minutes to play. So, you know, an hour we were done, and that was teaching the game to 2 people who've never played it before. Okay, they are gamers, so that does help. Now, their thoughts on the game was that they quite enjoyed it. I don't think they were blown away with it. I don't think they enjoyed it as much as potentially I did. But they did enjoy it. They enjoyed it enough that because I had said that there was an expert mode when I was explaining the classic mode that's more interesting, engaging and longer. And so they were eager to try that. So we actually got to try out not just the classic mode, but they wanted to try the expert mode as well. So we played 2 games back to back, a classic and then an expert with 3 people. It was great fun. I really enjoyed it. The more I play this game, the more I enjoy it. And I'm not ready yet to kind of give my recommendations on player numbers, etc. I'm definitely starting to form them the more I play, and I am enjoying it, as I say, the more I play, and hopefully, you know, I'll have a review out soon giving you the full details on this. Now, for those of you who don't want to go back to my previous Game Night in Review to find out what I'm talking about with Quadropolis, I will just give you a quick, brief summary now. It is a city building game where each turn you're sort of drafting your buildings into your city, and where you place them in your city will affect how those score and then at the end of the game you win by having the highest score. So the game is made up of 4 rounds, and each round each person will have 4 turns of drafting. Now the way that this gets a bit more interesting with the drafting is you're drafting from a grid using numbered arrows, and those numbered arrows will dictate what tile you get and also where you are allowed to place that tile in your city. So if it sounds interesting, do keep your eye peeled. I will be doing a full series of videos on Quadropolis very soon. I am very much enjoying it and glad I picked it up. A few queries were raised by people on the replayability and longevity of this game. And I think hopefully after, I've only had a few plays so far. So if I get a few more plays, I'll hopefully have a better idea for actually this always seems to play the same way or not. So that's all the games that were played at Games Night last night. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed the video, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and family. And do also check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching and bye for now.